Hey guys, it's Rena. Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about Colourpop. I have tried their lip products and I've tried some of their eye products, and I just wanted to talk about their eyeshadows today. I figured I can keep the lip liners for another day. Maybe if I do a whole video on lip liners, that would be kind of fun. But today I wanted to focus on the eyeshadows because they are my favorite item from Colourpop, but they're not without their faults. So I wanted to talk about the different colors I have, the different consistencies, and how best to apply them. So I have 17 colors. I used to have 18. The other one was Bae, B-A-E, and I ended up giving that away to my boyfriend's sister just because it didn't really apply as nicely with my skin tone as I thought it would. I never liked the look of red purples on me, and when I blended it away, it always looked a little plummy, so I figured it might look better on her, and I wasn't using it, so I thought I'd pass it along. But I have 17 in front of me, and I'm going to be doing swatches on my hand over just with my fingers, because that's how Colourpop recommends you to apply them, and I have no primer on my hand, so they'll just be on bare skin with fingers as recommended by Colourpop. So I'm going to start off just kind of picking random ones, and this one is Chipper. It is kind of a minty green, and it looks like that. All the shadows come in little pots like this with screw-on tops, which it's really important that you screw it on very tightly because these are more of a cream eyeshadow. They're somewhere between powder and cream, and they feel very, I don't know if you can see, if I press into it, you can see that, that I leave a dent. They kind of have like a weird texture in that way. So if I go ahead and just apply it here, there's Chipper. You can see it got a little uneven. I have to kind of fix it, but they're super shimmery, really beautiful. Chipper's a gorgeous color. On the lid, it typically goes on very even. I can build it up by just, taking a little more on my finger and just tapping it. It works really nicely, and this one lasts pretty long. The next one I have in front of me is Dare. This is a purple, kind of a deeper purple of the ones that I own, with kind of a pinkish sheen. Let's see if we can get a nice swatch of it. There it is right there. You can kind of see the pink a little bit. Also very pigmented, but not the most pigmented of the ones I own. Honestly, I was hoping that this one would be a little brighter just because I love kind of purples like this. But it is still very nice. I don't have, too many complaints about it. Next one I have is Glow Sticks. This one's really screwed on tightly. It is a very shimmery yellow. This is one of their pressed pigments. See, they have Super Shock shadows, and then, say that 10 times fast. And then they have Super Shock pressed pigments, which are supposed to be a little more, intense and not necessarily eyeshadows. This one is disappointing, though. I have almost all of the pressed pigments, to my knowledge. There it is. You can see it's not as pigmented as the other ones. And I was really hoping that since it's a yellow, it would really be vibrant, because sometimes it's hard to find very vibrant yellows. But this one kind of let me down. So it really needs to be built up a lot. And I find that when you do build it up, especially if you bring in a flat brush, it really starts to look cakey and uneven, and it almost flakes. So don't recommend Glow Sticks personally. That's just my experience with it. The next one I have is I Heart This, and this is actually really lovely. This is one of 2 neutrals I own from them, but you can tell I use it quite a bit. It's a lovely eyeshadow. Here is I Heart This. It's just a nice kind of taupey color with high shimmer, super smooth, super opaque, goes on very lovely with no issues of being even throughout. It's beautiful. Next I have Daddy. This is one of the mattes. I think this is the only matte I own, and even by looking at it you can kind of see that it has a different texture. It's still creamy, but I think that actually presents issues because it is a matte. The texture, it swatches pretty. It's right there, it looks pretty even, but I find that it just applies a little bit harder. You have to be very careful with this one to get it even and blended with the other shades. just because it is a wet matte, which sounds kind of contradictory, I think. But it's workable. It's just not my favorite thing to wear in the world. Like, I would choose another color over Daddy. This one is stunning. This is Erotic, and it's gorgeous. I love this one. It is like a, oh, I don't even know how to describe it, like a fire orange, but leaning very red, but with pink and gold. It's so beautiful. Oh my God. This is part of my favorite like look that I can make out of my Colourpop eyeshadows. I wear this one a lot with Animal, which I'll swatch next, just so you can see them next to each other. Animal looks like this. It's like a corally orange. And there it is. Those two just make such a beautiful combination together. They're just gorgeous. And they both last a long time on the lid, which is important because with cream eyeshadows, I feel like you're kind of risking them fading and creasing faster, but I haven't had too much problems with those two. This next one is called Slave to Pink, which I adore this shade. It's really fun. Super fun. This is one of the ones I knew I had to have, even though I didn't wear pink eyeshadow a lot. Just look at the finger swatch. Gorgeous. And this is one that not only swatches vibrant, but also goes on the lid very, very vibrant. This is definitely a must-have. The camera's not even capturing how beautiful the shift in here is. It has kind of like a purple shift. Next, we have Ibiza. Beautiful teal. I wish I used this one more than I do. I think it would be a really pretty summer teal for all over the lid. It's very creamy, very pigmented. It sounds stupid to say creamy because they're all cream, but like I said, some of them have a different texture. This one's very thorough throughout, like very consistent, and it doesn't really skip when you apply it to the lid. Okay, let's see what we got. This one is Crinkle, which I love. Crinkle is a really hard to explain color. It's kind of a dark gray teal with lots of silver shimmer. I'm going to try and build it up just a little bit. Sometimes this one needs some extra help. It's really a gorgeous color to smoke out on the lid. It pairs really well, oops, dropped it, with the next shade, which is Sugar. These are another pair that I like to wear quite a bit. Sugar is like a, almost like the color of money with silver shimmer. Kind of a silver pewter with like a blue type of tone to it. This one wears very well, just like Crinkle does. They last a long time, and I haven't had any issues with those. This one is Fizz. This was another letdown. This is one of the pressed pigments, and it looks like this. This one has a very liquidy feel to it, like more so than the other ones. Like I don't know if you'll be able to see, but I can like push the product around. I was looking forward to this one a lot because I love lime greens and, you know, chartreuse, but it just, it's not there. It's just not. They're very sheer. It's very sheer. I see more sparkle, honestly, when I put it on my lid than I do green. And my main problem with it is that when I do apply it to the lid, it goes on so patchy and so chunky that I can't get it to blend out. I'll show you the tool, like the brush that I use later on to try and pack colors on if my finger's not doing the job. And it does an okay job, but even with a color like this, it's just not going to happen. The next one is Sour, which is similar, which is why I want to swatch it next to it. This is more of a chartreuse. It's definitely more yellow than it is green. It's very satiny to the touch. It's one of the just regular Super Shock shadows, and it's a satin finish, so I guess I was on the right track there. There it is next to Fizz, and it's really pretty. It makes a really great like inner corner color. And this one applies so much better than Fizz to the lid. I just wish I had a more green shade that's bright like this one. So the satins have a very lovely feel, and they apply very nicely. Personally, I like the ones with shimmer and glitter more. I just think they work better and look nicer on the lid, especially applied with the finger, but that's just my opinion. This one is Empire. It's a deep emerald with some silver shimmer. This is a pearlized finish. Looks like that. You can kind of see how it's pearlish. And there it is. It's pretty sheer. You definitely just get more of a sheen. I sometimes will wear this one with chipper, those two together, and it just gives it a nice dimension, but you don't get much color payoff from it, so it just looks very subtle. The next one I have is Flipper, and this is beautiful. I love this. One of my favorite colors from Firenze is very similar to this, but with blue sparkle, so I guess I have a soft spot for these type of colors. This is like a sherbety orange shade with high shimmer in it. It is a metallic finish. The metallics are my favorite. Two more. We have Fantasy, which is kind of similar to Slave to Pink, but more purple. There it is. It has a bluish, no, more like a hot pink flash. And it is also a pressed pigment. This is one of the really, really pigmented ones. I guess I will put it over here. There's Fantasy. You can see how pigmented it is, how much shimmer it has. It's really beautiful. This one applies beautifully to the lid with a brush or with fingers. A lot of the metallics and the pressed pigments are pretty good, except for those two, Glow Stick and Fizz. They don't apply well either way. And the last one here is a metallic, and it's one of the more neutral ones. This is called So Quiche. It's spelled like so quiche, but I assume it's supposed to be like so cliche, but they're trying to be funny. So this doesn't look very like exciting in the pan, but I don't know if it's even going to show up on camera, which is going to be a shame. But it's like an olive green with beautiful pink shimmer in it. And it's very subtle on the lid, but it just adds a little extra something so that if you want, you're like, oh man, I'd have to wear a neutral look today, but you still want it to be a little bit fun. So Quiche is beautiful, and it pairs really nicely with, where did it go? I heart this. So those two, that one, and that one, I put together a lot. So again, these are the swatches of the shades that I showed you. My overall thoughts is that they're kind of hit and miss. The metallics are generally amazing. They have high pigmentation. I wear all of my eyeshadows, all of them, every single type, over Urban Decay Primer Potion at least. And it's no different for these Colourpop shades. I definitely use a primer, and it's usually Urban Decay Primer Potion. I try and make my lids as matte as possible and as dry as possible so that these really stick. They really need to be applied with the fingers like Colourpop suggests, but if I need to blend, I definitely pull out a brush like this. This is a double-ended Urban Decay brush that came from one of the Naked palettes. It has a fluffy end like this that works really well for blending out the Colourpop shadows in the crease if you want to fade them out. And then a really flat, stiff brush to be used to pack on the eyeshadows, especially for getting in this inner corner, because sometimes my finger just can't get precisely there, so I usually use this. But again, there are a couple shades like Fizz and Glow Sticks that just aren't to their full potential. You would expect something that was called a pressed pigment to be, super bright. Like some of the other pressed pigments like Fantasy and Erotic are like super bright, super vibrant, I expected them to be like that. So definitely check them out. I think they're good. They're fun and different, and if you don't mind applying things with your fingers, then they're a good, good thing to look into. They are extremely affordable. I think they're $5 a piece. You get free shipping over $40, I think, or $35, one of the two. So it's really easy to get free shipping if you just pick out a couple products. Everything on Colourpop is very affordable. I do know people have had issues with the shipping times. I've personally never had issues, but I know they've gotten a lot more popular since I ordered from them. Their customer service was always very responsive to me, but again, I know people have been having issues since they've been having these big sales, and they recently had their site hacked, I guess, or it was some kind of security breach where people's cards were getting stolen. I didn't buy during that time. I bought these about 7 or 8 months ago. It was a while ago, maybe almost a year. So I've never had issues, but that's something to think about. There's definitely blog entries and stuff out there about that if you're interested in looking it up. But for me personally, the eyeshadows themselves are worth it. They're a good deal for $5. You just have to learn how to use them and play around with them. So thank you guys for watching, and please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in a future video.